This storm is not a glancing blow. This storm is going to be a direct hit.
People along the eastern coastline from South Carolina to Virginia bracing for Hurricane Florence. Plus, several local crews are on their way to the East Coast to lend a helping hand as Florence approaches. And people in Nokomis are worried a building they consider historic is in danger of closing down. Your Suncoast News starts now.
You're watching ABC7 News at 11.
Good evening. Topping our news tonight, the ongoing preparations for Hurricane Florence along the East Coast. Let's take a live look at Wilmington, North Carolina. Right now, FPL crews from the Suncoast are on their way to the Carolinas ahead of the storm. Red Cross crews also confirming with our newsroom they'll be heading there in the coming days. More than 1,000 Duke Energy employees from the state are also on their way to help. Nobody taking any chances when it comes to Hurricane Florence. And for the latest on Hurricane Florence's track, let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan. Bob, what can you tell us?
Good evening, everyone. We are watching this dangerous, powerful Category 4 hurricane. The 11 o'clock advisory has come in. No real threat in terms of changing as far as the wind speed goes right now. It remains at 140 mile an hour. That may be a little overestimating it from the National Hurricane Center. The eye has become a little bit more ragged tonight, indicating there has been some shear, but just the last hour or so, they say, it is starting to look a little bit more healthier as far as the satellite imagery goes. You can see it's right there. There's a little bit of shear, it appears, on the southwest edge of this system right now. We'll get a close-up look and show you that eye as it makes its way off to the west-northwest right now. It's going to continue on that course as well for the next a couple of days before then it slows down. Unfortunately, right near the coast of North Carolina, and there's some indications now that high pressure will build to the north of it and actually push it more toward the southwest. So Georgia is not out of this picture quite yet. You can see the winds tomorrow expected to be up to 155, gusts up to 190, and then it makes its way toward the North Carolina coast as a Category 4 hurricane. This is where it slows down. This is 24 hours right here, and there's 2 days of time right there near the coast. 130 mile an hour winds just before it enters the coast, and then probably more likely a Category 3 hurricane as it moves on in. And then it sticks around, and you can see this cone has moved a little bit off to the south and west. Georgia now included in that cone of uncertainty. So things are starting to shift a little bit further down south as a result of high pressure building to the north of that system. So again, the rain inundation expected to be 20 to 30 inches in some isolated areas, and there are numerous warnings up for the coast. Now we have some showers around here. We'll talk about those storms as well as Isaac in the Atlantic coming up in a few minutes. Jacqueline? All
right, Bob, thank you. We'll talk to you soon. Evacuees from Florence headed in different directions to avoid the hurricane's fury. This drone video shows the traffic on I-95 southbound this afternoon. Plenty of people also heading west to escape the storm. Dal Kennedy takes us to Statesboro, Georgia, and shows us why more people are riding out the storm there.
Millions of evacuees headed north on the interstates from coastal South Carolina, but more and more of them are coming west, finding Statesboro. Evacuations have plenty of people on the highway. The Rileys, their daughter and granddaughter, stopped at the Statesboro Convention and Visitors Bureau after they fled their vacation condo in Myrtle Beach.
The storm kept moving northeast, so we thought we'd be safe here. And we just picked Statesboro on the map.
The CVB's director says they see more people coming west during a hurricane.
I think local people would be very surprised at how many evacuees that we get from coastal areas.
Troopers say more drivers take the off-ramp and avoid potential bumper-to-bumper traffic.
I've noticed in recent evacuations that more people are taking the state routes, is keeping a little bit of the traffic flow on I-16 or I-95 a little better.
Audrey says they're glad they found a room and things to do for a few days.
I'd rather be safe than sorry, because it's scary being even in a tropical storm.
Davis says travelers can check vacancies in this area using the Visit Statesboro website or their social media platforms to check on hotel vacancies and book something on the way here. In Statesboro, Georgia, Dal Kennedy for the Raycom News Network.
Well, meanwhile, Sarasota County rescue crews are on their way to North Carolina this evening as Hurricane Florence threatens that area. Around this time last night, Sarasota County got the call asking they send what they call strike teams to Raleigh, North Carolina. So today, 6 members of the Sarasota County Fire Department packed their bags, loaded up 3 rescue units, and started making their way to North Carolina. These 6 men and women will be helping to evacuate those who need special assistance prior to the storm's arrival.
The request for 8 days, so they'll leave today and they're expected to return around the 18th, but it's going to depend on what other requests may come in post-storm if their activity requires them to stay longer.
In total, throughout the state, about 500 people are heading to the Carolinas to help restore power after the storm. And with the threat of Florence barreling towards the east coast of the U.S., it's a stark reminder that you need to have a hurricane kit ready, even though Florence won't be hitting us here in Florida. Area hardware stores say many people have not stocked up on those important items needed during and after a hurricane. Local emergency operations offices say it's always important to have that kit in place and ready.
Last year we had that mad rush to the last minute. Here we were open till midnight before the storm arrived, and you know what, this year we want to make sure that everybody's prepared. Now with storms sitting out there in the Gulf or sitting out offshore, now's a great time for us to start thinking about those preparations ahead of time.
Some of the important items to have include batteries, flashlights, canned food, water, and a first aid kit. Other hot items that often sell out this time of year include generators and gas for grilling. And remember, while Hurricane Florence is not impacting the Suncoast, there is still 2.5 months left in hurricane season. If you still need to get a plan in place, head over to our website, mysuncoast.com. Click under the Weather tab, where you will find a link to our 1-hour hurricane special, Surviving the Storm, as well as a printable 2018 hurricane guide with lots of useful information. In other news tonight, many people are trying to do what they can to rescue a popular spot in Nokomis. North Jetty Fish Camp has fallen into disrepair, and there is concern that it will be demolished one day. ABC7's Rick Adams has more tonight on what residents are trying to do.
It's hard to tell by the look of it, but this transformed old trolley car, known as the North Jetty Fish Camp in Nokomis, is a home away from home for hundreds of people. Todd Inghauser has been visiting this facility since the 1970s.
I came here with my grandparents, I came here with my mom and dad, and now I bring my kids here. My biggest fear is that they'll tear this building down and get rid of some of this history that's been here for a long time.
The North Jetty Fish Camp, which Sarasota County leases, has been around for nearly 70 years. It's a gathering place where folks can grab some drinks and food and even bait for fishing. Visitors say the roof needs major repairs and a blue tarp has been placed there to try and stop it from leaking. The floors also need a lot of work and the entire facility needs a complete makeover.
If they don't do something to repair it soon, it will be beyond repair and they'll have to remove it, which none of us want.
Rob Bendis, Sarasota County's Historical Resources Manager, met with nearly 200 concerned residents on Saturday to hear their stories.
People, one after another, came up and said that their hearts were in this building, that their major life events took place at this spot.
Bendis is now looking to see if the North Jetty Fish Camp would qualify to be listed on a local or national historical register, freeing up funding to fix it up and save the popular spot, which sits on Army Corps land.
It's certainly old, but county code has specific criteria to be designated as a historic place. And that's the evaluation we're doing right now.
For Inghauser and so many others, they're optimistic about the camp's future.
My hopes is the county would do right and repair the building to allow them to keep it here. And if we're able to, we can get a historical marker on the building so we can preserve it and maybe even take it back to some of its original design.
That was ABC7's Rick Adams reporting. Now, it's not yet known when this is expected to go in front of Sarasota County Commissioners for a decision. As the red tide outbreak continues on the Suncoast, leaders in the city of Venice are taking a stance against fertilizers and their potential to pollute our waters. City Council did not approve a citywide ban on fertilizers, but instead decided on implementing a voluntary ban for each resident to have a choice on what they do. They also agreed on launching an educational program to teach people why it's a good idea to not use these products on our lawns. Residents were encouraged to send the city their opinions on that matter and were then invited to join in on the discussion today before a decision was made.
The emails that came in support of stopping fertilization and those that said no, keep it going, was almost a 50-50 split. So if nothing else, if the people that are really in favor of not fertilizing lawns just stop doing it, half of the lawns in Venice, in theory, would stop being fertilized, that's a really big first step.
In addition to this voluntary ban, officials will be developing a plan to better monitor outfalls from the city of Venice into the Gulf of Mexico. New at 11, organizers of the Sarasota Farmers Market are concerned about safety issues due to ongoing construction on a new project in downtown Sarasota. Executive Director Phil Pagano says they plan to shift the south end of the market over one street until construction of the Mark is complete and it is safe to move back to Lemon Avenue. However, he says until that shift on October 6th, the crane and counterweights need to stop going over vendors, customers, and the general community for safety reasons. He says if not, it could result in a serious accident.
It's a shame that, people have to be on guard, even out of school these days. So, we have to, I think, take a look at things. I don't think we can just not address it.
Pagano says if the crane does go over the market anytime from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturdays, he will be forced to shut down the market. He went on to say the community and vendors rely on the market, but it is his responsibility to keep everyone safe. Well, stay with us. Chief Meteorologist Bob Harrigan will be back with your first alert forecast.
Sean, it's me. I just wanted to let you know I love you, and I'm stuck in this building in New York.
Plus, newly released audio from TSA today that shows how that day developed on their end 17 years ago. And new developments in a kidnapping case from more than a decade ago. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. You can recover. It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery. The world is a beautiful place again. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP.
I heard about the Detoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Detoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was and some additional cancers that were not found during the biopsy. I would recommend the Detoli Cancer Center. As a group of human beings, they are unbelievably great.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
Gettle's got what you're looking for at Gettle.com. 17 new car brands, over 1,000 used vehicles, prices and payments you can afford. Credit help if you need it, and they pay cash for your old car. Plus, Gettle Pre-Owned Certified Plus means buying with peace of mind. Need service? Gettle's got that too. Gettle's got it. Visit Gettle.com.
The big talker tonight, Hurricane Florence, and really the devastation that could come with what it's bringing.
Yeah, and not only just North Carolina, you know, a lot of the focus has been on North Carolina. Folks in South Carolina and even in Georgia now. Right. Georgia, the Appalachians also could see some catastrophic flooding. Things have changed a little bit as high pressure is expected to build to the north of it, a little stronger than some of the models suggested just a day ago. Well, for us, we've had some storms around, scattered about, a little bit more action tomorrow afternoon, I believe. We've had some evening storms too near Nokomis and down near Venice as well. That activity now starting to wind down, pushing off into the Gulf, and you can see just some light rainfall occurring now. But the rain had been pretty heavy, still light to moderate precipitation occurring near South Venice. That lightning, though, now just getting over as the storm has weakened as it pushes off into the Gulf of Mexico. This is going to throw some other boundaries around, though, and we could see some other isolated cells pop up in the next hour or so, especially north into North Sarasota and into Manatee counties. Well, we'll get to the tropics. That's where all the action is right now, obviously. And we're watching is Florence not as impressive on the satellite imagery tonight, but don't let that fool you. It's going to get bigger, we think, tomorrow. It's gone through that secondary eye wall replacement, maybe encountering a little shear on the western edge here. The tops are starting to get colder, too, and that indicates just in the last hour or so, the system may be just now reorganizing as it pushes off to the west-northwest. This is the wind radius. Now, this could change. The forecast in 3, 4, 5 days from now is all over the place as far as the forecast models go. So although this is showing a hit toward, it looks like North Carolina, the expanse of the storms as far as the wind reach, tropical storm force winds in this yellow extending all throughout North Carolina. That means massive power outages, and then the hurricane force core winds will be a little smaller, but still that could stretch out over 60 to 90 miles from the center of the storm. And there's still a chance it could just kind of linger right there and then push off toward the southwest in time. Now, this rainfall graphic, notice what's happened here. This is the European model showing the yellow areas. That's 10 to 20 inches of rainfall. Now that stretches down into Georgia, northeast Georgia, in the mountains there as well. That would cause catastrophic flooding. Obviously, that kind of storm with that kind of rain in the mountains there will cause some significant problems with flash flooding and even some mudslides. Now, the storm surge warning covers a huge chunk of North Carolina all the way down into South Carolina, and that may have to be switched down south. This is a watch now for a life-threatening storm surge. And just to give you some of the heights, this little area of yellow right there and the darker green and lighter green, that's 13 to 15-foot storm surge anticipated with the present track. Now, that track can change. That's a worst-case scenario, but things are changing over the next several days. We'll see, I think, shifts back and forth, mainly to the south and west now, it looks like. Isaac, on the other hand, not a very well-organized storm at all. It's pushing to the west. In fact, it's a tropical storm, and it looks like it will stay a tropical storm as it approaches the islands, although there are hurricane, I should say, warnings out for parts of the northern Leeward Islands, the Lesser Antilles there. A tropical storm warning in effect to the northern extreme portions of those islands. And then it stays as a tropical storm. There's a chance it could even dissipate here. Upper level winds are pretty strong. It could blow it apart. We're going to keep it in the mix zone. Watch it closely. The forecast models are to the north here, one sweet, and then the other suggestion is more to the west, as high pressure will kind of block it from getting into Florida's picture. This one appears to be a Texas or Mexico storm. A good chance of that becoming Joyce in the future, and those chances are very high for this invest area. More than likely, it'll become a tropical depression or storm in a couple of days from now in the southwest Gulf of Mexico. It's warm, it's muggy out there. It feels like 91. The high today was 93, well above the average. Look for temperatures to be around 90 tomorrow again. And a good chance for scattered afternoon and evening storms in the mix. A little bit better chance of that happening later in the day. East winds turn to the northwest at 5 to 10 knots. A light chop out there. As far as the 7-day forecast goes, a good chance for scattered storms through Thursday. A little less action on Friday. There'll still be some around. And then a pretty good weekend if it looks like Florence stays away and doesn't get too close to us. We'll see a slight chance for showers, but once again, if it gets closer to us, sometimes it can actually throw some dry air our way, and these rain chances may go down a little bit. We'll see how that plays out, but right now, just calling for a slight chance over the weekend. Jacqueline?
All right, Bob, thank you. A 7-year-old Bradenton girl was shot while in her mother's car. Take a look at the surveillance video that was into our newsroom this evening. You can see the mother's white Impala traveling from right to left. Bradenton police say the suspect's white Durango then turns, he shoots, and they speed off to the right. It all happened over the weekend on Manatee Avenue East. Investigators say the 7-year-old was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Bradenton police arrested 18-year-old Axel Benito Ramirez for that shooting. Ramirez admitted to firing a handgun into the vehicle as it passed by.
At this time, we do not believe that there's a motive behind it. We do not believe that the family nor the little girl were targeted. That being said, we worked 24 hours a day because our children are paramount. Our children's safety is paramount in this city.
Investigators say there is no connection between the victim or her family and Ramirez. A zookeeper in Oklahoma has been charged in a murder-for-hire plot targeting the operator of Big Cat Rescue in Tampa. Carol Baskin of Big Cat Rescue says she's had problems in the past with Joseph Maldonado Passage, who goes by the nickname Joe Exotic. Baskin says he has been threatening her for several years. Prosecutors say Maldonado Passage tried to hire 2 separate people to kill Baskin, one of which connected him with an undercover FBI agent. Both sides have argued over the treatment of lions, tigers, and other big cats at a zoo in Oklahoma. Baskin's group previously won a $1 million lawsuit against Maldonado Passage. Well, do you know the people in this surveillance video? If so, Charlotte County Sheriff's deputies need your help. They say the 3 are suspects in a theft at a 7-Eleven on Tamiami Trail in Charlotte County. If you have any information, you could be rewarded, and you're being asked to call Crime Stoppers. New developments tonight in a child abducting case that made national headlines more than a decade ago. A woman who helped kidnap Utah teenager Elizabeth Smart in 2002 has been granted early prison release. Wanda Barzy will leave prison next week, 5 years earlier than expected. She and her husband, Brian Mitchell, were convicted of abducting then 14-year-old Smart at knife point from her Salt Lake City bedroom 16 years ago. Smart was rescued 9 months later. Mitchell, who Smart said raped her several times, was sentenced to life in prison in 2011. Smart saying this after his conviction.
Today is the ending of a very long chapter and the beginning of a very beautiful chapter for me.
Smart, now 30, said in a statement that she is disappointed by the decision to release Barzy. She called it surprising and incomprehensible. Today, on the 17th anniversary of September 11th, we have new insights from TSA of how the agency responded that day. The 5-minute long video is titled 9/11 as Events Unfold and provides actual audio of first responders, air traffic controllers, dispatch personnel, citizens, and terrorists, according to the agency's post on YouTube. We're about to play a clip of that video, but we do want to warn you that audio is emotional.
A plane just what? The 737?
What?
Like the World Trade Center.
Who are you talking to?
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
United 175, New York. We have some problems over here right now. We might have a hijack over here, 2 of them.
Jules, this is Ryan. Lives on an airplane that's been hijacked. If things don't go well, it's not looking good. I just want you to know I absolutely love you. I want you to do good. So happy to time. Same to my parents and everybody. And I just totally love you, and I will see you later. Bye, babe.
Crystal City, just north of Crystal City.
Well, to watch that video in its entirety, you can head over to our website at mysuncoast.com. And on this 17th anniversary, we want to leave you with this live shot from New York City tonight. Right now, the Empire State Building is shining red, white, and blue to remember the Twin Towers and those that risked their lives on that day.
New tonight, things get wild. With the winning Keegan-Michael Key.
You can't lose.
Plus, Dave Salmoni cures Jimmy of his fear of animals.
You want to hold this guy?
Nope. Or not. Emmy-nominated Jimmy Kimmel Live. New tonight on ABC.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Excuse me a minute. Hi, Dad. No, don't try to get up.
Hi, I'm Julie, a right-at-home caregiver. And if I'd been caring for Tom's dad, I would have noticed some dizziness that could lead to balance issues. That's because I'm trained to report any changes in behavior, no matter how small. So Tom can have peace of mind.
We'll be right there. We have to go.
Hey, Tom, you should try Right at Home. They're great for us.
The right care, right at home.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to mesobook.com.
Call to see if you qualify to enroll in a Medicare Advantage plan right now. At Humana, we believe great things are ahead of you when you start with healthy. And part of staying healthy means choosing the right Medicare plan. Humana can help. With Original Medicare, you're covered for hospital stays and doctor office visits when you're sick, but keep in mind you'll have to pay a deductible for each. A Medicare supplement plan can cover your deductibles and coinsurance, but you may pay higher premiums than you do with other plans, and prescription drug coverage isn't included. But with an all-in-one Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you could get all that coverage plus Part D prescription drug benefits, all for an affordable monthly plan premium, and in some areas, no plan premium. It's all described in this free book. Call for yours and discover how an all-in-one Medicare Advantage plan from Humana could save you money. There is no obligation and the book is free. Call or go online right now.
Find out first at 4 on the Suncoast with ABC7 News at 4. ABC7 News at 4 starts with a detailed look at your first alert weather forecast to help you plan and prepare. We give you a fresh, fast-paced rundown of the day's top stories and videos, including breaking news, live updates, and traffic hotspots, all at a new, more convenient time. Find out first at 4, weekdays on ABC7.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Now, sports.
Steve Yzerman is stepping down as general manager of the Tampa Bay Lightning. He's handing the reins to longtime assistant Julien Brisebois. The 53-year-old Yzerman moves to a senior advisor role working under Brisebois for next season. Yzerman's move comes days before the Lightning open training camp following a trip to the Eastern Conference Final. Well, Hurricane Florence has forced the cancellation of several top 25 games this weekend for football, including number 13 Virginia Tech's home game against East Carolina, number 14 West Virginia's trip to North Carolina State, and number 18 UCF's game at North Carolina. Well, the Rays going for 13 wins in a row at home tonight. Indians put Shane Bieber on the mound at the bottom of the 7th. There's a scoring chance for the Rays as they load the bases in the 7th inning with 2 outs. But Smith pops out to short to end the inning. The Rays lose tonight 0-2. That's a look at sports. We'll have your winning lotto numbers when we come back.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 15% on our premium finishes during the California Closets Autumn Upgrade event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP is the largest locally owned CPAP supply company in the area. Is it time to replace your old equipment? The staff at Sarasota Oxygen and CPAP can show you the most up-to-date CPAP equipment and supplies to meet your sleep apnea needs, including portable travel devices and the SoClean automatic CPAP sanitizer. We serve all of Southwest Florida, giving the highest quality of care with the finest CPAP equipment. Please visit our website, sarasotacpap.com.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
Reorganizing a space in your home? Save up to 15% on our premium finishes during the California Closets Autumn Upgrade event. Contact us today for a free design consultation. Visit our showroom or online at californiaclosets.com.
The Florida Lottery winning numbers are sponsored by Frontier Fios.
A museum in Wrightsville, Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina is preparing for Hurricane Florence. As you can tell, the windows have been boarded up at that museum, and the site is now closed to visitors. Outside the museum, a signpost lists the storm surges of hurricanes that have hit the area over the last 6 decades. Bob, we were talking about this earlier. Hazel, obviously, there at the top with 1954, Floyd following after that, but pretty significant storm surge in that area. Can we expect the same?
Floyd caused a lot of problems, too, with heavy rainfall, with a tremendous amount of flooding throughout that region. This is the system right now. It's Category 4. It's going to make advance toward the Carolina coast, and then it's going to sit there and spin for a while. And notice that bend toward the southwest. As far as storm surge goes, it's going to be a significant problem. Not that high as Hazel, but 17 feet, not out of the question.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it. Thank you so much, Bob, and thanks for joining us tonight.